G'day, guys. Welcome to the Eagle Farm preview, and we've got the main man from Combet. Sooty, mate, how you going?
Not too bad, good. How you been going?
Absolutely sensational. Saturday was a decent day, and then since Saturday, all I've done is beat SP by a gigantic percentage, and none of them have won. So, you know what I mean? Shopping well and losing money is what I've done for the last 5 days. But no, it's been fun. It's been fun. If you beat SP by as much as I have been in the last few days, you're going to win in the long run, but it is quite demoralizing at the same time, you know? So.
You don't know because the market's so wrong and no one's doing any form. You don't know if you've just moved the market and the market shouldn't have been there and that price is wrong. Or
Yeah.
Obviously, over time you can work it out whether you're better than the market or not. But it's frustrating.
What I say, sometimes the best ones to find are the ones that are a little soft because then it's easier to get your money on too, mate. So that's handy. Sure. By the way, I was just doing the Melbourne show with Mark and Aaron, and Mark was asking me about who the guest I had on, and I said, it's Footy from Combet, blah blah blah. And I said, hold on a sec, Mark, I'll just check what the first race is, okay? Because you've been disappointed the last few months, mate. But we have an exposed form 1,000-meter race, so you should be back.
I'm coming up a win. I won the last first race I was on.
I know, but not stamping it immoral, mate. You know, like it's got to be declared. It's got to be declared. So let's see if you can declare one here. We're looking at some storms around, but probably not a lot of rain. We're on a good 4 at the moment. So I'd suggest we'll definitely be in the good range on Saturday, and we're on a 2-meter rail. Do you have an opinion of that summation?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we're working on a good track. It could be a storm late afternoon, but you can't work around with that. So I'll adjust if I have to. Track wise, I'm just waiting and seeing again. See what it is. Eagle Farm, I'm not so looking for leaders and go forward horses, but that does have the chance to have a really red hot rail day. So going in fair, we'll see how it goes. Not forecasting any massive bias at this stage.
Yeah, we have had a little bit of bias going on in all jurisdictions at the moment, and some of them being not obvious as far as long-term data is concerned, which I think the perfect way to approach it is the way you're doing it, which is fair, but you're looking to maybe stamp earlier if there is a little bit of sort of up and in bias. That's the way I'd handle it.
I'm looking for anything early. Like, if I'm going in fair, I'm petrified of something being off.
My thing is, if I'm going, I could be going in fair, but with a slight leaning to something. So if I see evidence in 1 or 2 races, I'm going to stamp really quickly. Now, sometimes I'll go in and I'll have the track completely wrong, and then it'll take me longer to stamp the bias because I don't have that initial sort of inkling going into the meeting about whether I'm going to be confident about stamping it. So this is one where I'll be going in fair, but always giving a tick to horses that are map positive because good tracks, it's a recipe to make money.
Particularly this meeting, I think there's a lot of moderate pace through the card. So moderate pace brings leader advantage or handy advantage. So I'm erring towards that. I think there's going to be a lot of slower pace and not many leaders. So I'm more concerned about that than I am about the actual track itself.
Beauty. Let's find a few winners. Race 1,000 meters. And there's a couple of maybe all right horses here and a couple that I think couldn't run out of sight in the dark. So in a race with limited chances, are you going to do your normal thing and stamp it, mate?
I can't stamp it on top. I've got liquor on top, but I've got it $4.20. So that's going to be a good lay for Combet on Saturday. The one here I do like is number 4, Amity Girl. Gal. I've got it $4.70. It's currently $7 in the market. So it's first up here. It's got a good strike rate, 14 starts, 4 wins. And last prep, it's gone really well. So that first up run, running the benchmark 85, which is significantly higher than this, it's only got beaten a length, and it was 5-1 there. So coming back to the benchmark 70, not worried about weight. It's got barrier 2, CJ. I think that's a recipe to run really, really well. So my main play of the race is going to be number 4, Amity Gal. The other bet in the race I've got is number 14, which is Shikara. So I've got it rated $10.50. It's currently around the $16 mark. It's got the win out at Caloundra in the Class 2. Started short out there, rated okay. And I don't think, because I am a little bit sus on the 5, I am looking for odds. So 2-bet play there. Race 1, number 4, Amity Gal, and number 14, Shikara.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, this liquor, isn't it? Because I have to be against it as well. Just, you're getting late preparation. It's an afterthought. You tried to go up in distance last start, and now you're back. Now, maybe that's the making of it. Maybe it's just all about the back to 1,000 is the trick. But with that question mark, do you want to take 6 to 4, $2.50, guys? Not for me. Not for me when there's a super easy bet in this race, and it's number 4, Amity Gal. We'll posse up from barrier 2. You know what I really love too, mate? We're running over the 1,000 metres here. Look at its 3 first up runs. Now, you mentioned that run in the Doomben race, in the benchmark 85. Okay. That was over 1,200 metres. This horse's stuff over 1,000 metres is far better. So its other 2 runs were over 1,000 metres first up, and it was a dominant winner on both occasions. One of them, course and distance, which is the 1-2 back, which was a really nice win. I thought it was far easier to take $7 Amity Gal. Saying that, I'm not going to rush into the price because I know certain assessors are very aggressively against first uppers. So although I'm willing to take a lot shorter than this, I'm not going to rush in. I am 4 from 5, but at the moment, 5 isn't a bet for me. Let's move on to race 2 over the 1,810 metres, Class 3. And, it's an interesting race, And I'm really interested to get your opinion too, Trent, because...
You're trying to throw me off here, Gore, because normally you say how much you love the race.
I've talked myself into the favourite again, mate. So, I'm seeing if I can get a bit more of a push from you. Anyway, what have you got over this distance? I call a distance race 1810.
Number 10, Princess Rhaenys is a moral.
Yeah.
I've got it at $1.70. It's one of those ones. I was going to give you a nice little range, Gord, where I put the range there. But I didn't want to go down. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole again. With these set weights races, someone who uses weights to rate them can get trapped a little bit. But it's had this weight all the time. It's not getting the big weight drop like they can do going to the set weights, or have to go up a huge amount in weight. So it's been around that weight. So the ratings I'm using are fairly solid. And the only thing I have to get past is hasn't won since January. Everything else, the ratings are there. The horse has come back. That last run is really, really good for this. Comes back to the Class 3. It's just tick, 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 except for not winning for a long time. I went to the Danger. I went and had a look at the 12, Madame Adette. It too hasn't won for a very long time. It has very similar form, but it's running the Class 3 set weight, got beaten 0.2 in the Class 3 set weight, where
that's a decent race, but
yeah, it's a decent race. But Princess Rhaenys is coming back from the benchmark 85, coming back, was even money there, coming back to the Class 3 set weight. It's just class-based handicapping that I do. It has to be, the gap has to be bigger than $3 and $4. So if I do that and I start widening that gap, if Miss Madame Adette was 3 in a row, 4 in a row, then I have to rein that price in. But Madame Adette's very similar win-wise, hasn't won since September 2022, so I'm not that concerned about it. You go and look, where else is there? You've got Anamcore. I can't. It's got a couple of wins at Caloundra. That might be the DF. That might do something, but I couldn't see a huge amount in that form. It's the winner, but yeah, more than happy to unload the 10 and have already. So I've taken $3.10. It's into $3 now. I expect it to start shorter, and it will be the horse that gets plunged on the day, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm going to reverse roles here. I suppose I am sort of more like the host than the analyst on these kind of shows. But yeah, I'm going to sound a little bit like GP here, and that is I backed Princess Rhaenys first up. I took double figures, jumped at SP $7. Like it wasn't the right race for it, but I was getting double figure odds. And, if I think the horse is the best horse, I'm getting double figure odds. I don't care about map question marks and not fully being primed. I was happy to sort of take that bet. And then I thought, okay, sweet. Well, I'm going to really go at you next start. And I think I averaged, high twos or maybe even low threes or something like that. It jumps at even money and doesn't get the chocolates for me. And I can't, you know what I mean? Like when you backed a horse twice in the preparation and you lost both occasions, you do get this sort of like icky feeling about like going again. The thing is, Trent, is that it's got everything that I'm looking for, man, which is, lovely progressions there. 13, 50, 16, 15. Did I maybe go one too early? I don't think so. I think it was right bet. I beat SP considerably on both occasions. It's just maybe I'm just a little bit bitter at the moment. It just looks perfect, doesn't it? I don't mind the map from 9. Like the fact that Maloney sticks. Then the two question marks for me are not winning for a while and win ratio. People, I think, underestimate win ratios. I'm less concerned with them when you're talking about distance runners. Those win ratios are less significant. But we are looking at 20 starts for 3 wins, and we've got to take 2 to 1, $3 to find out. So I'm just there's a couple of little cautious things there, but look, if I bet in the race, I'll only back with one horse, and it'll be Princess Rhaenys.
Strike rate, good. Strike rate, you're right there with the strike rate. It's the first thing I look at, and it moderates everything else I do. So it's critical to what you're doing.
It's funny because it's just such an obvious thing, and I don't think people pay enough attention to it. But but I mean, yet again, Trent, it's more important in the shorter distance races than it is in the when we're getting over distance, because distance horses tend to have setup runs beforehand, while 1,200 meter horses, 1,400 meter horses are pretty much go from early prep. So. Anyway, that's a question mark there, but we've both found the same horse, except you've got the trumpet out. By the way, Aaron tried to steal your trumpet as well. I made him hand it back to me.
It's GP's. It's GP's.
I know, that's what I said. Aaron goes, I'm going to have to give this back to Trent. And I said, well, it's actually GP's. But race 3, 1,600 meters, class 6. And I found this very difficult, mate. Could you line them up?
Yes, and all I got excited about was laying number 9, Indifference. Those horses that come from the country and come to the city, I'd love to see those big margins there. I get all gooey inside thinking about how much I'm going to lay them and how good it's going to be.
But you need to back it up with times and sectionals as well. But
I'm just always going to take those on, especially when they've had 15 starts. If you've had 2 or 3 starts and you're a little bit hard to gauge where you are, well, you've had 15 starts, you've had 2 great dominant wins, but they're Tamworth and
they're not even top quality country stuff. There's a big difference between, like, Scone. You got to look at Scone because that's top quality stuff for country. It's more significant.
Yeah, that's right. So I've marked it way lower than what I could mark it, just to cover it off, just so I don't back 6 horses in the race. But I'll definitely be keen to lay it. I dare say it will blow out. I hope it doesn't, but I'll be helping it get out. Then I went to try and find who can win, and they're all in a big clump, except for the one that I liked last start that ran well was that number 2 Driver Deal. So it won last prep. It won 4th up. I'd be much happier if it was at Doomben. So it's won most of its races at Doomben. It has won at Eagle Farm once, but now it's 4th up. Now it gets to 1,600. Now I think it's go time. It's been getting back in the runs. It can go forward. So if it was much more positively ridden, I could have it much shorter. I've got it 560 at the moment, but that's more because it's at Eagle Farm and not over at Doomben. If it goes forward here, I'm not really keen on anything else in the race. I think they're pluggers. I think this has got the upside. I think this is the best horse in the race and the best setup. So I'll be backing Driver Deal. But
interesting. There's a lot linked to it, but Trent. So you got Aussie Nugget is linked to it. You got Starzam that's linked to it. You know what I mean? And there's not sort of like a big discrepancy in their runs over that 1350 at Doomben last start.
Yeah, I've got a fair gap between. Aussie Nugget hasn't won for a long time.
Yeah.
It got beaten 4.5, so I'm always going to mark that around the 20-1 mark. Who was the other one?
Starzam, number 5.
Starzam, yeah, it's rated roundabouts. I think it'll just hold that rating. It got beaten 3. So
Jason Ardy's out of that race as well. There's just a lot out of that race.
Yeah, if Driver Deal improves the length and a half, it puts 2 on these. So
Yeah.
if you put that at the 2 ahead of those other ones, they're all 12, 16 shots. This is a $4, $5 shot. It's the bet in the race if you're going to back something. But if you've got a bookmaker's license, lay the number 9.
Yeah, but try and do it early. Eh?
And don't go on a show and tell everyone you want to lay it because
No, it's good. Yeah. Anyway, to be honest, guys, as far as Trent is concerned, the ones he likes, you're probably, we're going to be market close to top of market, but the ones he doesn't like will be above market. We might even be at the Betfair, you Trent might even be at the Betfair lay price on some of these, which is just fantastic value.
Yeah, this one could go over, depending on if there's support for it. If there's no support and it's blowing out, then we'll have to try and push for it. But would love to see some support, but I don't think so.
Beauty. Well, I thought there was an easy bet in this race, and it's number 6, Titanium. I just think this horse is running bloody well, and it's got DF. So I'm not big on the country stuff, similarly to yourself, and I thought that the others were sort of close to each other, that I couldn't separate them. So I went looking for DF, and man, well, what lovely DF I've got here. I really don't have a problem with this horse going to the 16. Have a look at the 3 seconds it ran at Eagle Farm. She just said good enough to win this. I know they're not over. One of them was over 16, the second to Eaglemont. So I'm giving it a big tick for that. Second to Shah of Gomar over the 14. That was when it was back in distance. Second to Dramatica. 7 weeks off back to 12. Glorified barrier trial to go to 1,600 metres next start, I'd suggest. And I'm getting close to $10 to find out. Might be the best horse in the race, and it's got 54.5 kg. So I thought number 6, Titanium, off a little bit of a DF Sherlocky way of thinking, was my play in that race. Let's move on to race 4 over 1,200 metres. And I like doing this race, but I'm not sure I found the winner, which is a very unusual statement for myself. But anyway, Trent, what do you got?
I hated doing this race, Gord. I hated it until I got to number 13, and then it was the best race on the card. Very keen here, number 13, Centre Stone. So because I was like, all the way through, and particularly the Flamenco, I thought, what? How can this be $3.50? I've got Flamenco more like $25. I don't understand why that is. Connections, obviously, when you got Ryan Maloney and Golan, but hasn't won since October 22. It's first up. It was ridden at Caloundra.
I think that's a little bit tricky, mate. Purely because the stable change happened just for that one start at Sunshine Coast. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know how Golan turns on these horses from south? Like, he's got a pattern of doing it.
Turning him from 25 shots into $4 shots on a Saturday.
Be a bit much for you. Okay.
Yeah, he needs to be a magician.
He kind of is up there, but yeah.
So when I had a look at this Centre Stone, so you got a Waller horse going up there. So last prep went up first run, last prep, raced at Doomben in the benchmark 68, won that at 15-1. Then came back down to the main stable, raced okay. So comes again, first up, goes back to Brisbane, only off 136 days spell. So it's 9 starts, 3 wins. It's a winner, gets barrier 4, so should get a pretty good run here. Won first up last prep in Brisbane. It's got a lot of ticks. So I've got it about the $3.50 mark. It's currently $11.20. Obviously, with first up horses, stable knows. Some people know a little bit more than I do about where it is.
Now we've got two trials to have a look at.
Yeah, you do. I don't have that time to do the trials, Gordon. I find trials.
It was pushed out over 1,050 meters, and its other trials over 1,000 meters. It has a pattern of performing well first up. I think stable intent is quite obvious on this occasion, which you're suggesting as well. But you just haven't watched the trial.
That's right. Yeah, I always do it through data. I find trials troublesome, and they send me in the wrong direction. So I've always tried to avoid them. But yeah, I'll take the cop the tip there that I think just winning last time at Doomben, they've done the same thing again, sent it back up there. It looks, I can smell a rat. I expect market support. I expect it to run much better than $11.20, and I have unloaded already. So very keen. Number 13, Centrestone.
Well, I've got number 13, Centrestone on top as well. I haven't done anything yet purely because I just have like a pretty set rule, Trent, where I'm very unlikely to back first uppers until later, unless I'm super confident that it's wrong. And this one, it's more of a lack of opposition and suspicion to the positive variables that you mentioned, rather than it being a proven horse. Because I'm looking at those lines in Sydney to see if I've got any good ones there, and there weren't really any good ones there. Saying that, it's still good enough to win this race. But if I see that as well, then I'm rushing into bet everywhere. But
you've got Otterich there.
I've got Fearnought, mate. What have I told you about Fearnought for? I mean, I suppose Redwood Shadow goes all right at Warwick Farm for Pride. So there's some nice little stuff there. No, but then I started looking at all the horses that beat in Ipswich and Doomben. So, it's 2 Ipswich wins before the long spell and then the win at Doomben. And none of them are really that crash hot. So if I had seen that, I would have got even more excited. Saying that, on top for me, number 13, Centrestone, it's definitely a bet. When you decide to back it is up to you. I'll be waiting. And I actually have to give Famiko a chance. I kind of like the return to racing there. I love it when Angela Jones rides them in the first start, and then they put either Maloney or Orman, or you know what I mean, or somebody, a senior rider on afterwards. I think that shows intent, and I'm kind of got the ability. I know the horses had 19 starts to sort of get rid of 18 of them, because that run at the Sunshine Coast was its first career start for Golan, and it was 1,000 meters with Angela Jones. I call that a glorified barrier trial to set it up for the next start. So, I am 9 and 13, and I did enjoy doing the race, probably because that Centrestone one was so sneaky. Sometimes I far prefer ABC, but the sneaky stuff that you found, I quite liked as well. Let's move on to race 5 over 1,200 meters, and I didn't enjoy doing this race. What have you got here?
Yeah, it's another one of those tricky ones. This is my bread and butter, these types of races, lining up all these benchmark horses. So I did find a number of bets. I was against Perfect Mission, so I went and had a look through, got its form. I was like, yeah. Now, it won at 13-2 last start, so I can't bring it really short. It's around $3 at the moment. It's not, obviously, granted, it's a chance, but always looking for something else. So when you're kind of icky on the fave, and then you've got something returning, I'm always going to kind of err with the horse first up. And that's where the most mistakes are in the market, with those horses first up that you can't really assess. So again, this horse first up, 161 days. It's won first up last time at the benchmark 70 at Doomben, then progressed through the prep and rated a little bit high, but not too much. So it's one of those horses that you can potentially stamp as a freshie because it hasn't gone better and better through the prep. So when I mark it around what it did through the prep, it's on top. So I've got it at $3.20. Current market is around, I think I took 380 or so. Yeah, so it's 380.
380 tab, I'm seeing.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely a bet. And Also, there were a couple of smokies here. So that C rater returned off a 70-day let up, and it's rated really, really well there. I haven't rated anywhere near that rating coming into this. It was behind Perfect Mission, but it was 200 to 1. Hasn't won for a long time, so it's going to be opposition. And without the SP anchor, you're going to get a decent price. I've marked it $7. It's currently $19.20. I've had something on it.
Good old boom bet, isn't it? Hey, good old boom bet. There we go.
Yeah, I haven't got boom bet, but other people can get $19. I've also had something on number 4, Montenegro Man. So coming off, fantastic Townsville Mackay form. First up here. So it's got some city form. So if I go back to that first up last time, returning to benchmark 85. So it was 8 to 1. So it did have some support there in that benchmark 85. It got beaten 3/4 of a length. And that's not too bad. When you start some of the other horses and you're a bit against the fave, some of these horses start popping up. So then went to the listed race after that, ran okay at 50s, but comes back to the benchmark 85 here. So it can be thereabouts. It's form up at Rockhampton, where it was winning by a couple of lengths, 2.5 lengths. That's okay. Has the ratings in the city to say it can do something, and more than happy to spec it at, I think it was the $26 or $23. Have something small in it, but keen on number 7, Sun4.
Yeah, sweet. No bet race for me. Yet again, win ratios there for Sun4, really exposed with 25 starts. I get your rationale. And I mean, I didn't see anything fantastic about Perfect Mission, but I just don't bet against horses like that. Got the right connections. You could be the best horse with 53 kgs. I wasn't super impressed with your win last start, but you did win. You're a mare. Yeah, I don't want to bet in the race. No interest. Race 6, 1,400 meters. Great race to do.
I think Show of Game has got a massive chance. I've got a $4.30. It's going to get the great runs. Comes back from barrier 7 back into 2. I think it's a horse that needs a bit of a suck. It's last times it had inside barriers when it had 3. James Orman, it won. The time before that, when it had barrier 1, it had James Orman, it won. I think it needs a suck. It needs to be that inside where it can get up, get box seat. I think it gets that again. I think it's going to be tough to beat. Do I want to take $3.50 about it? No. Looking for dangers. Don't know if there is one. I've been backing Light of Boom all the time. Now this is its race. Do I want to take $5 hit? No. So I think the pace is going to be a problem here. So what you're going to have is Hamlet Van Snitzel out in front. I think for me, the way the market sits currently, Hamlet Van Snitzel's the bet, because I think it might get a soft lead, but then it comes down to track. So if they're all getting off and they're all swooping down the middle of the track, number 8, Hamlet Van Snitzel is not a bet. If they're leading and winning early, then I'll be getting on this early in the day. But I think Sharad Goma either way gets a pretty good run. But if they can lead and win, number 8, Hamlet Van Snitzel is the bet for me.
This is the bet of the day for me, and it's number 2, Flashing Steel. What an absolutely perfect setup. If I had seen just a little bit more last start, I'd declare this an $11 moral. It's got a pattern of improving, like does nothing first up and then improves second up with 4 runs for a first, 2 seconds and a third. They've been in country sort of jurisdictions in New South Wales, but this horse has run in some proper races. If you notice from the wide jaw with Jet Stanley on it last start, it was completely neck back to last. And when it did pull out, it was in the wrong part of the track and it didn't do a lot, which is why I can't mark it like super short. But then they do the beautiful favour to me and run it round in a mid-prep trial over 1,045 meters against good horses in Barossa Rosa and Perfect Thought. I thought it was probably the best trialer in those. So that's a good sign that that disappointing run first up is maybe not how it's going to perform this preparation. And then we look at all the sort of good stuff here that is definitely good enough to win this race. I mean, we've got a stack of wins at Canterbury, so you could argue horses for courses Canterbury, but they're against some proper horses. It's got a dominant win against at Kembla Grange as well, so it's not just a Canterbury horse. We go off that run at Grafton in the open quality there with Betcha the Crown Crafty Eagle. I mean, that's a solid race. It ran around $5 SP in that race. And guess what it did on that in that race? It led in that race. So it's tagged from the wide draw at Rose Hill. Would I've liked to seen something more? Yes. Now they'll go forward over the 1,400 metres. Hamlet von Schnitzel will lead. It'll just half card it, which will be a lovely position because I think there's going to be no tempo in this race. Look, if it's not gone, it'll win. And, you know, in this price range, I don't care. I'm willing to take the punt. Let's move on to race 7 over 2,100 meters. And wow, help me. You've got, hey mate, you've got this bush form, this weird form coming into this race. All like you got Canterbury, you got Tuncurry, you got Ipswich. What was the story?
I hate 3-year-old races, but these Brisbane 3-year-old races are really, really good because you have all the same ones. You don't have them all coming from weird and wonderful spots. So, what I'm keen to do here is forgive those horses that were supported in the on the soft track. So you have horses like Encoda who were 4-1 in the lead up, and now just being gapped after failing on that wet track. So coming back to the firm ground, I'm going to be more market oriented.
Oh, SPs are going to be more of a factor in your pricing this race. Yeah,
correct. So what I've got here is I've actually got number 2 Encoda on top. I've got it $5.70. It's currently $12. In the lead up 2 weeks ago, it started 4-1 in the more trouble race. Obviously failed on the wet. If you go back to that run before that, and the start where it won, it's had a fairly level rating there. If I give it back to that rating, so completely forgive that run, it puts it right on top and favourite. So I have backed it. The other one is number 5, Winsome Star. So I think this is something similar. Yeah. So it's fifth up. It's 5th start this prep. Same thing. It was 4-1 in the more trouble race in the lead up. It was on a soft track, soft 7. It failed. Going back to its other ratings, puts it right in this race. More than happy to take the $10 about it. So I've got 11-2, taking the 10s. And the other one is number 9, Red Defcon. So started 10-1 in the lead up, failed on the soft 7. Going back to its rating, puts it around that. I've got it $7.20, and the market has it 26. So if you just completely forgive those soft runs, you have to have those 3 having a chance, and the market seems to have gapped them because of the late prep failure. But I'm not doing that, and I'll be taking those 3.
Yeah, the horse that jumped off the page at me was number 2, Encoda. I liked the fact that, the win at Eagle Farm. So it's had one run at the track for a victory, and we can completely forgive that run last start. Saying that, we're getting very late preparation on it. But, I mean, yet again, we're talking about $12 best available at the moment. I just thought that was a super easy bet. But there's a couple of question marks for me, and that is late preparation, Trent, and also not proven over 2,100 meters, which I suppose isn't unusual for a 3-year-old at this time of the year. But do I have evidence there? I haven't actually checked the evidence in the late sectional splits on it to suggest whether it'll be suited going over the 21. But if it ticks that, then I could have it really short. I thought that was that's a good find. Shy Guy. Well, yeah. Yeah, I was absolutely against it last start, and maybe I was wrong, or maybe it just overperformed because of the track, mate. That's what we'll go for. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I thought
It might get a soft lead, but it's seventh start this prep also. So they've all had a lot of starts. So all the things
yeah.
you hate about some horses, all the other horses have the same problem.
Yeah, I mean the thing is about these ones coming off the weird shit as well, mate, is it's not like they've got convictions to say they're not up to this level. Now they've definitely not proved themselves, but I couldn't get rid of them. I know you get rid of horses like that. I couldn't get rid of them. So but anyway, look, it seems like we've come to a similar conclusion there, but I'll just be backing one horse, which is number two. Race 8, 1200 meters, listed race, and man, yeah. There's some lightly raced ones here that might have a fair amount of ability, and there's some sort of couple a little bit more exposed that are running well at the moment. What have you found?
Number 9, Abounding on top at 360. That's kind of where the market is. I was a little disappointed with it last start. Some people were saying it probably should have won, but I expected it to perform much better than what it did. So won't be backing it today.
Yes, well, I didn't mind the Sydney form there, west of Dalby. So although I was super keen on Abounding, like, was it west of Dalby? Just ran far too long odds for a horse coming off. Yeah, Sydney stuff. Anyway,
If we look at some of the horses around it, what they're rated, that race is rated way higher than what it should. It's Pox. So I'm really concerned about Abounding and how that's going to translate for future runs now. I want to see it kick back and kick back hard before I back it again, particularly at the odds it's going to go around in. So I'm more than happy to keep it safe, but not back it. There's a horse here, sneaky form, a little bit hard to rate, which is why you get the value, which is number 1, Sofrado. So it's third up now. It's had a let up and a barrier trial. It's 35 days. It's a win. It's had 10 starts, 3 wins. So more than happy with its strike rating. If you look at its 2-year-old racing, which can be fraught with danger when you start looking back at the
oh
2-year-old
man,
days.
it's fantastic. That's why I backed it first up at Eagle Farm over the 1,000 that day when it was yeah, it was good, real good value on that occasion. Well, no, I suppose it was bad value now, mate, because it came fourth, so I didn't even get the place. But
That's right. Yeah. So I hate the Hasamu race. I can forgive it for that listed race where it's failed second up with a poor recovery. Then I have to start looking at, okay, where do I peg this horse? So I want to, penalise that Samu race. I penalise at 7 kilos, and I go back and look at where its other 2-year-old races are, and that puts it on that same line of where that is, and that's more than competitive here. So I've got it at the $6.20 mark. It's 14.20 with Boombet at the moment. It just has to be a bet. It's an auto bet for me. I'm not particularly keen on some of that other form, so more than happy to have it with that superior or 2-year-old form and good 2-year-old form. The other bet in the race is number 10, Tiger Shark. So I know there's been certainly some smoke around this horse for a while now. Its wins at Doomben were good. Its first up run was really good at Caloundra, and it went forward and failed there that next start, but it did have support in that race. The whole race is poxed and it's failed, so I'm more than happy to forgive it out of the race. If it gets back to what I was doing last prep, it shouldn't be $14. So I've got it 8-1. More than happy to spec it at 14s. Definitely that Spirit of Mac, more than happy to take it on after backing it last start. That race is awful.
Geez, it was going to go past the other one, wasn't it? And it sort of turned it up a little bit.
Anyway. That Botonte's race is really poxed.
Yeah.
But the only reason I like it was because of the soft track. It's coming off the Acton, getting on the soft. Now it gets back to the firm. I've got it 60s. It's single figures at the moment. So we will be gapping that one. Some of those other horses, I like that Defiant Spirit and Deep Respect, but they seem to be well found in the market every week. They've got their chance, but I can't get it near that price. So more than happy to back number 1, Sofrado, and number 10, Tiger Shark.
I'm going to back the best horse in the race here, and I'm quite happy to back horses like this, and it's number 6, Show Me Mercy. Really like that trial, that 850-metre trial coming into this year, the lightly race, proven winner. I know you really haven't beaten any rock stars yet, but just your action and power in the trial, and the fact that you're a proven winner. Some of them quite dominant. Obviously, we've got a course and distance dominant win before we went out for a spell as well. I think it's the one that could be going on to better stuff, and if it is, it should be winning this race. So I'm number 6, Show Me Mercy on top, and the other one, which is a really easy bet for all the reasons that Trent mentioned, except I don't think you mentioned the gear change on number 1, Sofrado, mate. See, horses, it's been gelded, and horses that I think showed a lot of ability as a young horse, and then they don't quite live up to expectation afterwards. Best gear change is gelded. It can really get them back to racing really well. It's running some high quality stuff. It's done all that stuff that Trent's suggesting, and there's $15 available. So, yeah, look, I think it's an open race, and I don't want to bin a bounding, mate. Like I still think it's running really well. So it's an open race that I'm happy to bet into. So I'm 6 from 1, but the others that we've mentioned do have chances. I couldn't pen them, except I agree with you on Spirit of Mac none. So. Okay, race 9 over 1,400 meters, and well, this was a very easy race for me to do. How'd you go?
Lord, I bet you really love this race. Yeah. Number 4, Far Too Easy, is immoral. I've got $1.80. I think it's 205 at the moment. I went through some of these horses. So you got a horse like Scalapini, who I was kind of with last start.
I think we can say gone now, can't we? Can we say gone with Scalapini now? It's a 9-year-old.
50-50. Yeah, 50-50. Those horses where they're disgusting. I hate them. I don't know where to put them. I always put them about 16 to 1. So you're kind of there.
Yeah.
You put a percentage next to them. 11-11, same thing. Market 16s. Hate it. I've got my boyfriend, they're Irish songs, so I never really want to lose with it, but you need to take 20s for it. The big goodbye, Vinco gone, Military Expert could be gone, Albuquerque 200 to 1. Zushak, you're looking at Zushak for a chance. Like hasn't won since October 2022. And then you got this horse who's got some good stuff. And when I see coming out of those restricted races, I got the pen out straight away. But then I went, I'm going to have a look here. And then you got that good Doomben race, the listed Caloundra race, where it was wide throughout both of those runs. Slowly away in that Eagle Farm race, and all those wins win this quite easily. So I think that front page race is okay. It's a grand final for all those horses, so it does elevate a little bit. And none of these other horses have anywhere near the ability of this horse. So it's best horse in the race and should shit in. Number 4, Far Too Easy.
Yeah, my only thing is what price I have to take, because it's a map negative horse. But I think it Posse's midfield running line or something like that, which they should do that. Like when you're clearly that much better than the opposition and you're out of 5, there's no point tagging. Now, I understand the tag in the Kosciuszko because you're out of 12 and there's going to be super hot tempo. But in this race, take it by the scruff of the neck and just own this mob, because you are far superior. Far Too Easy is far superior. We get the right barrier. We get the right jockey. Now, the only other thing that I wanted to check off with this horse was the 1,400 meter creds, to see if it wasn't just... Oh, by the way, another thing too, it's great the fact that they've had the freshen up and barrier trial. This horse is fresh, man. It's just awesome fresh. So it's looking perfect. So let's check out the 1,400 meter stuff, and we've got enough evidence here, man. So we've got that. We've got the heavy track run at Randwick. Another one, Commando Hunt. Now, Commando Hunt's gone on and done some good stuff. I don't think heavy track 1,400 meters at Randwick, if you can run a decent race in that, you're not going to have any problems at Eagle Farm 1,400 meters on a good track. So there's the evidence we need to say 1,400 meters is all right. So we tick that box off now as well. And we say, with any luck, it'll shit in. What price you're willing to take a map negative horse is up to you. Let's move on to race 10, and we're over 1,810 meters, and we've got some really tricky horses here, mate. Like, what do we do with some of these? Like, are they myths? I mean, 2 of them won last start, and they're such mythy horses. How are we going to handle them?
Now, Nick's not here because he ate paint last time when Nick's he's got paint poisoning.
He hates it too. He's so competitive.
Yeah, these horses,
and he lost a lot of money on Betfair too. So
yeah, these horses, I can always find an angle to bet. You're always working it out, and I've been with Great House all this prep trying to find a way to get on. Now I've kind of dropped it. June 45, the form there's no good, so more than happy to gap it. And then it leaves you with Knight's Choice, Russo, and Quality Time. So I've rated them all $4.50, equal on top. Looking at the market, Knight's Choice is under that. It's not something I can really back now. Sixth up, can't get any improvement. Barrier 10, what kind of run does it get? More than happy to take it on, which leaves me with Russo, number 5 Russo, and number 7 Quality Time. I've backed both of these. So Russo, it's only had 4 runs this prep, still got some upside. Little concern about the SP last start, but I had it 6-1, so I tend to err towards what I thought it. When it wins, and I'm saying, is this a real win? Yes, it is a real win. It's probably more like a 5-6-1 win than a 10-1 win that it had. So more than happy to back it again, going up to the Open. The other bet in the race, it's a horse you've been following, Gord, hasn't won for a long time, but has been thereabouts, and I think it's now or never for it, which is number 7 Quality Time. So it's been all around these horses, finished 0.8 behind Knight's Choice last time at 9-2. So it has to be somewhere around that price again. Give it a little bit of improvement. Penalised for the have not won for a long period of time, and it's right there. So just the 2 bets in the race, number 5 Russo and number 7 Quality Time, both around the $6 mark.
Yeah, one of these races or it's Quality Time, one of those horses where considerably beaten SP and hasn't done the job for me. broken record Gordo here. No wonder I say fuck SPs all the time. Really? Like, seriously. You should see when you track my data. Like they win off assessed price, like whether they firm or blow. It's just so weird. So
when you back a horse that hasn't won since October 2022, it's probably your fault, not SP's fault.
Man, I thought the easy play here, mate, was Rousseau. Just because the 3 major horses you look at are all the 3 you talked about, but Knight's Choice and Quality Time are linked to each other. So isn't it just easier to take the $6 Rousseau and just say, if the Knight's Choice Quality Time isn't right, then this is the one? Another thing too there, guys, is linked form. So you notice Trent's really keen on Princess Rainier, who's in an earlier race. Might get a little bit of linked form there if that's a dominant winner as well, because Rousseau kind of dominated it last start, man. Like, it was sort of an impressive win. So I just thought, like probably like in a really low confidence race, it was easy to back number 5 for the reasons I've mentioned. Cool, mate. What are our best? Well, you've got to have a best in the first race. There's no choice, mate. I'll force the best out of you. Even if there's not one, you've got to give it a go, and then you can give your other stuff.
I am keen that race 1, number 4, Amity Girl. I think it is an auto bet. My best 2 on the day are race 2, number 10, Princess Rainus. I've got $1.70, currently $3.10 available. I think it starts much shorter. The other one, race 9, number 4, Far Too Easy, assessed $1.80. I don't know. It could be one of those firmers. I don't know where it will start. I think if people do the form the way I do it, it'll start probably $1.60, $1.70. But these ones, if something it parades poorly or does something, you might see it blow. But I think I can't see it getting right out to 260, 270, like some favourites do.
Yeah.
Looking at other bets, the other 2, value-wise, my best value run of the day is race 4, number 13, Centerstone. I've got a massive overlay there. And the other one, race 5, number 7, Sunfall. They're first up, so you're always pissing into the wind a little bit with those, but more than happy to spec them at the current odds.
Beauty, guys. Well, anyway, there should be a little icon up the top there to sign up for Nick's Mounting Yard Mail. Yet again, as always, like what a brilliant service he does in there, Trent. Like, people asking questions, he responds straight away. You want an answer on a horse that you're keen on that maybe isn't in his yard numbers. He gives you a comment on that. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And then you get the odd moral during the week, which is good as well. But by the way,
it's great. Yeah,
he does Yeah, he likes
Yeah,
wins.
he can tip the NFL as well. So he's tipping a few
Oh,
wins.
really? Led you into a couple of winners there. Hey, he's one of my football soccer men, and he's tipping bloody American football, is he? Disgraceful, mate. Disgraceful. Okay, guys, that looks.
Combet's got the auctions. Combet's got auctions all over the place this weekend.
Yep.
So we had a few extra guys jump in on Saturday, but we need more. So, the more people that get in, the more they're sustainable. The more we can run. The more we can run them midweek and just keep growing. So we needed everybody's support to get there, get involved in those auctions and get the value.
Where are the auctions this weekend, Trent?
We are doing all 3 meetings, I believe. So we're doing Caulfield, Brownwick, and Eagle Farm.
30 auctions. 30 auctions, eh?
It's going to be a bonanza.
People will be spending more money than buying a house at the Saturday auctions, by the sounds of it.
It's going to be a bonanza. So we have tweaked it a little bit. So we're putting a bit of a safety net in to try to get them to go to 100% or slightly above. We can't run 30 auctions and do them at 87% and 90% like some of them are going for. As much as we do like giving away money, it's not a good business. It's not a good business plan. So we're putting a safety net in there. So 95% of the horses will go off in each race. But across 30 races, you've got 300 horses to get there, and I'd say 285 of them will go off. So it's going to be.
I'm telling you right
massive.
now, nearly every horse is going to go off at far greater than best current fixed odds available. That's why it's going to happen. So yeah.
The market's usually around 125, 126% of that time, and we'd be giving it away around that 100% mark. So it is a bonanza. It really is a bonanza.
Beauty. That's awesome news. 30 auctions. Wow, that's exciting. Okay, guys. Good luck. Good punting. Thanks, Trent.
Thanks, good.